We are live on YouTube, Twitter, Rumble. About to be live on Rockfin. Waiting for the go live button. I'm joined here with Ian Covell. Ian, thanks for joining me tonight.
Merry Christmas, Brad.
Merry Christmas to you as well. Hans Gruber is now one day closer to falling to his inevitable death on the pavement below Nakatomi Tower.
Good.
Yeah, he deserves it. I'm actually going to be playing Hans Gruber in improv version of Die Hard this coming Saturday.
Oh.
Our
Is it
friend
Saturday?
Josh is playing John McClane. You know, I typically think of myself as the John McClane, but I'll go Hans Gruber this year.
Yeah, I mean, you were John McClane's son for a brief period of time.
For a brief time many years ago, I was.
We should play that trailer sometime on the show. You did a great job with it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I actually usually do that around this time of year. I like to show that off as much as possible. Anyway, let's get into the show. Where are we? Trump's unique fundraising strategy, Meta's new AI glasses, and predictive programming. This is the Propaganda Report's Drive Time News Blast. I'm Brad Binkley, joined by Ian Covell. I think we should start with the obvious top story of the day. It's Time Person of the Year, Taylor Swift's birthday. Ian, is there any message that you would like to deliver Taylor Swift on her birthday? I know she's listening.
Free Palestine.
I'm sure that she would be on board with all of that as long as the Kansas City Chiefs aren't playing.
Right.
You know what I think is going to happen here? I don't know how old that guy is she's dating. I don't know how long he's been in the NFL. I've never heard of him
Mr.
before.
Pfizer?
Do what?
Mr. Pfizer?
Yeah, Mr. Pfizer.
Mr.
Right.
Pfizer?
Like, dude's in every Pfizer commercial.
Yeah.
And didn't Aaron Rodgers call him that at one point too? Yeah. So I think that she's obviously they're gonna break up. Obviously, it's not gonna.
These are they're not real relationships. This is like when companies merge or they have a partnership for a brief period of time.
Absolutely. And while they're not real relationships, the damage to him will be very real. He will never be the same player nor the same man ever again. Meanwhile, Taylor will have a new hit song based on their relationship. That's my prediction.
It'll be called Kickoff.
Yeah. Sack. She's like 6'1". She's a lot taller than real.
Hey man, I like tall ladies. I'm 5'8", and I do enjoy tall ladies.
I'm not going to jump into the final story, but we'll come back to that at the very end of the show. That's a nice little tease for later. Let's start with a couple quick stories. Meta just launched a beta version of these new Ray-Ban smart glasses that have built-in AI
So they're trying again.
They're going for it again, yeah. And howdy, Stella. They did not expect – they were originally going to release these features in 2024, but Zuckerberg, he wanted to expedite the process. And the AI features on the glasses – they can access I don't know if you've ever seen these glasses. They sell them at Best Buy. I know that. But they have a camera, a little tiny camera. You can just record stuff with it, sees what you see. And so the AI accesses that camera, and it's looking at the world through the same lens that you are. And it interprets information based on using generative AI. And one example of what the feature can do, according to this article, one of the testers – using a voice command, asked his Meta glasses, he said, "Hey Meta, look at this and tell me which of these teas is caffeine-free," as he stared down at a table with 4 packets of tea that had their caffeine labels blacked out with a magic marker.
Okay.
And so he said that the glasses, he heard a little click because they have to take a picture of what you're looking at very quickly, and then it analyzes the picture as opposed to actually analyzing, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just the image. For some reason, snaps a picture, and then it analyzes all of what it sees, and it told him the tea that had the caffeine in it correctly. It said in a voice, because it uses a voice response, that the whichever Carmeline tea was likely caffeine-free. And it did it by reading labels and making judgments using the generative AI. Like it was, I guess, looking at all
Are you calling it degenerative
it
AI?
should be degenerate AI, but generative AI.
Generative. Okay.
Generative
Okay.
AI. Yes.
Degenerative
Yeah.
AI. Degenerate
Degenerative
AI.
AI.
Yeah.
And this would be a very helpful feature for anyone who has all of the caffeine labels in their tea blacked out. You know, get you some of those glasses.
Yeah, no, seriously, because I need what I need this technology for is for magic tricks. I need it to like help out with shell games and card tricks, and that's the first thing I thought of is I'm gonna get these glasses and I'm gonna screw over street magicians
Which
all
they're
over
going to
the
be
place.
so mad about.
So mad.
Yeah, well, Penn and
And Meta, tell me what card. Yeah, where's my card?
But the challenge is, though, that it apparently makes stuff up, just like the AI, Chat GPT and stuff. So you might be like, which card am I holding? And it might be like the 13 of hearts, something that's not even there. And it did that, and they did an experiment where this guy, he was looking at a bowl of fruit or something. He's like, Meta, what's in this bowl of fruit? And it said all of the things in the bowl of fruit and then made up like 3 or 4 other things in the bowl of fruit.
So it's a liar. It's a
liar.
Piece of shit.
Right. And in the same context, like in the same paragraph, it had just talked about how beneficial these glasses might be to people who are legally blind, because it can tell them what they're seeing, or it could tell them lies about what they might be around. You know, I don't know if that's good.
It's too tempting.
What's
it's
in
too
front of me?
tempting for this AI.
Absolutely, it's going to say, "What can I walk safely across the street?" And it'll be like, yes, and
sure.
it's like
Coast is clear.
Train tracks. You just walk right out in front of them. So
yeah,
I looked at some of those. These are $300.
But this is right. This is just the next version of Google Glasses. Remember they tried Google Glass?
Yeah.
And I remember when people saw them. Remember how mad people would get? Like, get that Google Glass out of my face! Like they'd be like, "Why are you walking around taking pictures of me?"
Right. And so those were pretty obvious what they were. Right. You could tell.
Yeah.
These look like Ray-Ban sunglasses. They're getting better at masking them.
But if you look at them, I'll bet if you see them in person, they're slightly thicker than they should be.
Yes,
and it's gonna have that little. You'll see the little dot. You'll see the lens.
You'll see the red light.
Yeah, you'll see the red light come on. Are you recording me? No, I just like to have sex with my sunglasses on.
Yeah, totally. I don't work for Pornhub. Yeah. So the article is talking about how this is kind of the future of mass surveillance, where everybody's always
we'll know because it'll be all the greasers,
right?
All the guys from all the guys that look like T-birds from Grease Lightning.
Yeah, they'll all have the same recording glasses on, and it's not even your cell phone anymore. You have to just turn your glasses on. So like they sell all these devices on Amazon. Have you ever looked at the hidden cameras they have on Amazon? They have fire things. They have clocks. They have air purifiers. You can almost just whatever you want to have with a camera inside of it. Just type that into Google and you'll probably find some product like that. They have pins. I mean, some of them are way too obvious. Like they actually do have a bright light on them and they don't look like a normal clock, but some of them are very, very discreet. And I imagine a lot of Uber owners of Uber houses probably shop in this area of Amazon. So they can fill up their bathrooms with all of these products.
All these Airbnb people.
Yeah. I ran cross country. The guy who founded Airbnb went to my high school, and we ran cross country together. And
Mill Creek?
No, Brookwood.
Brookwood.
Yeah. And I don't remember him. I don't remember him at all. In fact, I've thought multiple times, I'm like, did I make fun of him a lot? Because like, he probably knew me, which is weird. Like the billionaire dude definitely knew me.
He's probably still pissed at you.
And I didn't know him. I don't remember him at all. You're
He's
right.
probably still fucking mad
Yeah,
at
that's
you,
probably
too.
why he started Airbnb. He's like, F this guy.
If I found out someone had a camera in the Airbnb, I would make them regret it by what I would put in front of that camera.
What would you put in front of it?
Oh, I don't know yet. I mean, I'd have plenty of time to think. We'd go to a bar, we'd grab some drinks, we'd write a list of things we'd do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
So yeah,
I mean,
yeah, dude, exactly what you do. Like, so when
we stage
people,
a murder, we
Yes.
fake a murder and stuff, all
Exactly.
kinds of crazy shit.
yeah,
Satanic
so-
rituals.
Right. That's when these scammers call me, and I know that they're calling, and they'll say something like, well, you're going to go to prison. We're the IRS. Give us money. What I do is I mess with them. And one time, because they had called like 3 times in a week at one point. And so one of them, I answered the phone, and when they told me I was going to get arrested if I didn't pay them immediately, the IRS, they said they were, I immediately started crying and said I was going to kill myself. And I committed to it all the way. And the guy tried to stop me. He tried to talk me down. And then I broke character and told him he was the scum of the earth. So, yes, I think you can apply that same type of philosophy.
That's funny. Yeah, I told them, they told me they were going to send the sheriff after me. And I said, well, I got no money and nothing left to live for, and I'm armed to the fucking teeth.
It's a good way to get the FBI after you, too. Right.
Well, I mean, it was just a scammer, though.
Yeah. Stella says that she's scratching the nudist beach thing off of her bucket list now.
Yeah.
Interesting. Are you really? I have never been to a nudist beach. I've been to a couple of nudist bars in Key West, and I have to tell you, the fat truckers are the ones that get naked.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, super
right.
sexy, don't get me wrong. But
Yeah. No, I discovered that in Florida, growing up in Florida, there's a like a private beach called Play Linda. It's where like a lot of locals go. It's where you can go and watch the shuttle launch. You can stand on the beach and watch the shuttle take off.
penis?
And well, you can't anymore. 'Cause
excuse
they
me,
don't-
the shuttle. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't anymore. But but if you walk far enough down Play Linda, you get to the nude section. And my buddy and I, we were like 14. We walked for hours to get to this thing, only to find nude truckers and their trucker wives.
You know, you're building it up in your head.
Oh, yeah.
All of the hottest chicks you've ever imagined in your life are going to be
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
wanting you to have
Isn't-
3-ways with them.
Yeah. Welcome. We've been waiting for you.
Right. And instead, you find yourself sitting in between 2 350-pound truckers at a bar, drinking shots of whiskey and PBR.
And having a good time.
It's
'cause
still a good time. It's
why
just-
not? These people are non-judgmental.
Right. And as long as you're not photographing their penis with your Ray-Ban glasses. So,
Hey, man,
all right.
are you photographing my penis?
So Trump, the media gets so mad at Trump. I mean, they're pretending to be mad. It's not real anger for most of them anyway. But it was obvious a long time ago that if they're going to try and take all of his money through these lawsuits and take all of his time that he would be campaigning, that he was going to use he was going to be campaigning while he was in court. He was going to be using what the weaponized courts did to him to raise money, because you have to make the most of where you are at the moment. Mm-hmm. And obviously he's going to do that. And the media pretends to be so upset and up in arms about it when they do the same thing. Even heard Jake Tapper say that it would be political malfeasance if he didn't campaign off of this. And, then he pulled Brian Stelter off of his penis and threw him off over to the side. But Trump, there's a story today, which I think this is really funny. It's super funny. It's smart too. He's doing exactly this, what you would expect him to do. And he has released some new products to raise some campaign money. You can buy, as a Trump supporter, if you want to help his campaign, your very own piece of the suit that Trump wore when he was arrested in Fulton County, Georgia.
That's amazing.
For just under $5,000.
If I had FU money, I would buy it.
They cut the suit up into tiny little pieces and are selling it.
I wonder how small the pieces are.
I tried to find a picture of them.
You think it's bigger than Napoleon's penis?
Just barely. Just barely. It's about 1 inch and 3/4.
Okay.
I'm going to play Trump actually brings it up. There's a couple of ways you can get a piece of this this suit. Is you can buy it for us like $4,995, or you can buy enough of his NFTs that also gets you a piece of that suit. I think is the way it works. He'll explain it right here. Let me find the clip. Not wrong click. Hold on. Let me put it up in here. For some reason, I took it out of my queue here. Speaking of Q, I watched a video of the QAnon shaman on, what's his name, Jimmy Dore last night.
Did you see him on, what is that little shit's name? David Pakman? I hate that little fuck.
David Pakman, yeah.
You know David Pakman? He drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But I watch him.
Yeah.
But he
I
was on
watch him
David Pakman.
sometimes.
He was on David Pakman. David Pakman is just, I mean, come on, man. Like, he was just really, it was
being
not
a jerk.
very fair. It was being a jerk to the guy.
I have to say, I was not expecting to be impressed by.
I was impressed.
Well,
he set a low bar. Let's be honest. This is a guy who went in dressed like a Viking, right?
Yeah.
And he called himself QAnon shaman. So anything after that, he's gonna be most improved forever.
Right, but he didn't call himself the QAnon shaman.
You're right. That's
so,
right.
like, he clarifies that right up front, and then he's got his campaign talking points down. He has some ideas that are pretty good, and he's pretty polished in his message. And
I thought
he
so,
doesn't
too.
want any money. He wants no money from anyone, because Jimmy Dore was won over to him. And Jimmy Dore's like, I'll come do a show to raise campaign funds for you. And he was like, no, I don't want any money. I would rather you donate that money to these causes that are going to help bring about legislation that gives people more liberty. So it was a very unique way to campaign. Now, I don't think he's going to win doing that, but he's very spiritual in the way that he was presenting himself, and the reason why he said he was at the Capitol on January 6th. He said that because of his beliefs, he felt a calling that he needed to be there, basically to make sure there was good and positive energy going around. And when you look at the videos, that checks out. Like, they're being nice to him. He's saying kind things to people. I know a lot of people say he's an op, and maybe he is. I don't know. I'm just saying, based on what I saw in the video and what he said, he wasn't full of it, because it aligned perfectly with what he said he believed, and he did get wrongfully left in prison.
For sure.
Way too long. And he wasn't even mad at them. He was like, I've forgiven them. And I was like, this guy's, I'm a little suspicious of how smooth he was, but it makes me want to reach out to him and see if he'll come on the show, because I actually think that he would.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He may have done enough psilocybin mushrooms and ayahuasca to reach some kind of,
He's definitely done a lot of psilocybin mushrooms.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. So here's the video of Trump advertising how to get a piece of that famous suit that he wore when he was arrested.
I love it.
This is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, with some very exciting news. My last 2 Trump digital trading card collections sold out in just hours. And now I'm back with my latest series called the Mugshot Edition. I wonder where that came from, the Mugshot Edition. 47 all-new stunning cards, and here is the best part. I'm doing 2 important things for my Trump collectors. For the first time, we're creating a real physical Trump card. Purchase 47 digital cards, and we'll mail you a beautiful trading card.
47.
It is an authentic piece of the suit I wore when I took that now famous mugshot, and it was a great suit, believe me, a really good suit.
He doesn't have it anymore. He immediately cut it up. It looks exactly like the one he's wearing right now.
Yes. I love this image on screen here, which maybe Trump did this, actually. He did do it.
I think, I know. And the mug shot, I've often wondered. He looked in the mirror in the bathroom.
Absolutely. They practice so many different expressions.
He was probably excited to take it.
Yeah, I think he was too. You know what I think he was doing? I think that he was trying to win over minority communities with that mugshot.
Did he make his own hand tiny? Yes, he does look like he has tiny hands sometimes, for sure.
Yeah, he does. In that image, he does. So the image on screen is Trump.
It could be
speaking.
forced perspective as well, but yes.
Yeah, right. And it's not, they put it in your head. You're primed to see it that way.
Yeah.
Half the screen, he's talking, he's delivering this message, and the other half, you see the mugshot kind of in a maybe small little, headshot type size, and then there's Trump standing next to the mugshot, giving his tiny thumbs up, and he's wearing the same suit in all three images. And he's literally selling the same suit that he's wearing for $5,000.
So funny.
JC, happy birthday. It's not December 25th, but whenever your birthday is, JC, in the chats, happy birthday. Let's hear the rest of Trump's message here.
It's all suit, believe me, a really good suit. It's all cut up, and you're going to get a piece of it. I'll be autographing some of them. A true collector's item. This is something to give to your family, to your kids and your grandchildren. With the purchase of 47 of the Trump digital trading cards, you will also be invited to...
That rendition of him, that artistic rendition of him is very favorable.
This is an AI photo of Trump that is very favorable. You're right. He looks like he's...
He just had an AI do this.
Yeah, he looks like he's maybe 55, 57 there. And I have no idea who those two people... And so it's like Trump is facing camera, right? And it's like he is the referee of... like a chess or maybe an arm wrestling competition.
Yeah, those two are about to arm wrestle.
Yeah. And Trump is pointing towards the camera, and it says, purchase 47 digital cards, collecttrumpcards.com, 47 for the 47th president, I'm presuming. And then these other AI images of, I don't even know who they tried to make these people look like. But
yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Stella says, is Trump telling us something? Is he, in fact, virtual? Perhaps. We could have a virtual Trump and a robotic Biden. Because I know Elon Musk showed a video of a robot today that he I don't even know the backstory of the robot. I just saw the video, and I was listening to Scott Adams talk about it, and Scott Adams made a great point, and I can't not think about it this way. He was like, this robot walks exactly like Biden does, and it does. It walks exactly as slow and fumbling as Biden does, probably because it weighs 2 tons. Biden.
So you think Biden has robot legs?
I think that maybe he has robot legs, or I think he takes very tiny steps because of a fear of falling down.
Oh,
and the robot takes kind of tiny steps.
It's.
You don't think it's that?
No, I do. I mean, it's just the amount of methamphetamines that he must have to do.
Dude, they pump him up, dude. I mean, Hunter is his dealer, most likely.
Oh yeah.
Which they did. They did move forward on the impeachment thing, but that's.
Oh gosh, I don't want to get sidetracked, but I loved the Hunter press conference today.
I have the video. Maybe we can watch some of it later. I haven't watched it.
Oh my gosh.
So
he's a victim. He's a victim.
Of course he's a victim. He's a painter.
He's a victim. He was a victim of revenge porn, and he was just protecting all of those underage girls he filmed having sex with him.
Right. Yeah. And they should arrest everyone who has watched him do those inappropriate things with maybe underage girls. They shouldn't arrest him. They should arrest the people who watched it. The revenge porn laws. I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but there have been a couple of attempts to charge people under revenge porn laws, one in Arizona, and then there was talk about doing it to Marjorie Taylor Greene, who showed it in Congress.
Right.
And under the law, they would get arrested and potentially face jail time, while the person who actually made the video, Hunter, would be scot-free. And this is why I tell people, delete the Hunter Biden laptop information from your from whatever computer you might have it on, because they'll come after you under revenge.
They can't arrest all of us, Brad.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. That is a great picture of Trump there. So let's see the last of his message here.
Join me for a gala dinner at my beautiful Mar-a-Lago, my home in Florida. You've perhaps heard of it.
So I don't know if that was the whole message. That's the one I could find. You can search Trump $5,000 suit or Trump website or just be very specific about what you're searching, and it won't show up. it's like you have to go to your email or go to True Social and get the exact website.
Yeah, even if you put stuff in quotes now in Google, it just won't it won't give you certain results that you know are there.
Right. It's like how does so you can even search True Social. At least this has happened for me. I'll just be like True Social. Is it org? Is it .com? I'll just type it into Google, right?
Right.
And it won't even be on the first page.
Right. Right.
Like
It's like, well, we didn't know you meant the Truth Social. There's just so many other things that we thought it could be.
Trump's post on True Social about Chris Christie, and I'll get 50 different articles from left-wing media sites analyzing and interpreting it for me before a True Social link even comes up.
Yeah. Google
Just stop
is
using
Google is you can't, and that's the thing. Google's
Right.
the silent thing behind all of this. They're bigger than Apple, bigger than anything else.
Dude,
it's the thing
it's
you should be
crazy.
the most afraid of.
It is crazy. So it's Google, Apple, Microsoft, and I can't remember what the fourth one was. It was another one of those big tech companies. It
Like
might have been-
Amazon?
Yes, Amazon. Yes, that is what it was. Those four are in control of around 90 to 95%. I can't remember the exact number of the underground cables in the ocean that control the communication mechanisms worldwide. During World War I, one of the ways that so we were neutral. We elected a president, Woodrow Wilson, on the promise that we would remain at peace and we would stay out of the war. That's why he was elected. Fast forward, let's make the world safe for democracy.
Right. Well, it's they make any excuse that this is actually a threat to us.
Right,
Even though it's
to
happening
protect
way over
democracy.
there.
And it's ironic because almost the identical message is being delivered to us right now. Make the world safe for democracy. You must give money to Ukraine. And one of the ways that the propaganda worked against us was the British controlled almost all of the underground cables that controlled the communication. And so they would cut off any of the information coming from countries that were not allied countries that might have kept us neutral, made us see a little bit more of a balanced perspective, and they only let us have access to the information that was going to make us, hungry for war. And I think about that a lot because it's like that's how we talk about North Korea, and I'm like, are we sure that that's still not happening with these four companies actually in complete control of them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was George Carlin that I'm paraphrasing, but he said something like, you don't need a conspiracy, you just need several groups or people with aligned interests that have the ability to do it. And that, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's a second Carlin reference I've heard in 2 nights. Stella, I was watching Stella's show last night, and she made a Carlin reference as well. I think it was there's a club and you're not invited. I can't remember the exact quote. But,
right, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's it is interesting. I do believe, of course, they're manipulating it, and when I think back to what life was like growing up in the 80s, even the early 90s, when I graduated from high school, the internet kind of existed. It was mainly chat rooms, and then in college, there were websites, but there was no Google. You had to know the address to the website, right? In order to get there. So we actually were not nearly as for most of my youth, I was not inundated with the kind of information, the volumes of information that I am now.
Dude, it's so overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming, and you get addicted to it.
It's also consistent in a lot of ways because
you get addicted to it. What they count on is they know that as humans, we'll get on there and start injecting.
You're human? Are you? Oh yeah. No, we're humans. Definitely. Keep. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They know that as transhumanists, that we will feed off of negativity. Right. It's why my YouTube suggested playlist is like, people fighting, dash
black
cam
people
stuff.
fighting white people, and
I watched this guy, Black Conservative Perspective, and he's always got angry videos, of making fun of leftists.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just all of it. It keeps on coming to me.
I'll say this about Twitter. Maybe it's because of who I follow. While there is mostly a steady stream of things that lead to a little bit of anxiety, they do show me a lot of dog videos, which always.
Yeah, I do get some cat ones because I subscribe to a lot of cat stuff.
I like watching the ones where the cats and the dogs are buddies. They're like playing and laying on each other, and I'm just going, how do they do that?
They grow up together.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Or
Go ahead.
You'll have the occasional one where it's like a dog and a bear, and it's like, what?
My older cat, he's not into like rubbing his belly, but the little guy that I saved at 4 weeks, I touch him, wiggle him around. He doesn't care.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
There's this video of this guy. It's probably like a TLC thing years ago. He like rescued this bear when it was a baby, and it just grew up with him, right? And the one that I remember, the video I remember, the guy was talking about his relationship with the bear, and it was showing, and the bear's just massive at this point, right? And he's playing with it, and he's like, it was gentle with me, and he comes over on Thanksgiving and shows a video of his family around just eating. So the family's at the table, and then the bear is inside the house at the kitchen counter on the other side of the table, just ripping a full turkey apart. I mean, just shredding it apart. And everybody's just eating normally, right? And the bear is the best man of the guy's wedding. He's like, this is my bro, he's the best man of his wedding. And you see the bear at the wedding, and I'm like, man, that bear is like, one, you get it a little too excited during playtime, and your brother-in-law has his arms ripped totally off.
They're scary as shit. Grizzly bear's a scary, scary animal.
I remember Ask Jeeves also. Yes, they're very.
Oh yeah. Ask Jeeves. I think that was one. Was that the same one where you called and actually talked to a person?
I don't know. I don't.
That's right. They did used to be like a switchboard. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that.
That's correct.
Stella said the Carlin quote. It's a big club and we ain't in it. Yeah, it's very, very true. I wonder what someone like Carlin what his commentary on the state of affairs today might be. Because we see people
like him
who
or Bill
sometimes.
Hicks, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Oh, Bill Hicks was great. I like to think that they would probably lean a little more the way that we do, but sometimes people surprise you.
I think Chappelle is probably as close as we're going to get to that type of mind.
Right. Yeah,
thinking about these, because he does, man. Like the way he thinks about the issues, sometimes you're just he's the dude's a genius.
Chappelle's jokes about Israel and Palestine, which he made before all of this happened.
Way before, right?
And you can't make these jokes now. They're so good. They're such good jokes,
Yeah.
But people are so serious now they can't even laugh at jokes like that. They're hilarious. Bill Hicks got back on. Oh, you're talking about Alex Jones got back on Twitter.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, he did look like Bill Hicks. There is a video of Bill Hicks before he died because they had like the same producer at one point, and Bill Hicks in Alex Jones Studios when Alex Jones was getting started, and Bill Hicks is talking about how much magnetism that Alex Jones has, and he's correct.
Did you ever see? I think it was Rogan. It might have been Doug Stanhope. I think it might have been Rogan took him. There's a video of him taking him to a comedy club.
Oh, really?
Bill Hicks to a comedy club, and then he brings him up on stage, and someone starts yelling at him. And this is before, he was big on YouTube and stuff. Starts yelling at him about, being a conspiracy theorist. And he's like, you want to go? You want to go right now? Yeah. And he's like, oh, we'll go right now, man.
I've seen that. They start yelling back and forth because people get all like, they're like, come on, bro, stop, giving down.
I think it was Doug Stanhope that brought him, because then afterwards he was like, well, we're not going to do that again.
Right. Yeah. So Doug Stanhope, were you at Relapse? And Relapse is a theater that you and I met each other at doing comedy when Doug Stanhope first performed there years and years ago.
No.
So, Bob, it's sold out, and this is like 300 people in this old church that we had no air conditioning, no heat. It
was worth it.
Yeah, it was so fun.
It was worth it. It was so much fun.
And Doug Stanhope was so good because he made fun of the whole scenario, but a bunch of whole bikers showed up, a bunch of like, hard dudes. It was crazy. And, Bob didn't have a security staff. So our friend, Charles, who worked at a store that sold T-shirts that had the word security on them, brought a bunch of extra large security T-shirts, and they just threw them to us, the improvisers, right? And there's all these like big ass, huge truckers showing up to the Doug Stanhope show. And so we're all standing back there with shirts that look like a dress on us. Like, we could not look smaller. And Doug Stanhope's doing the show, and somebody starts to get a little bit rowdy and too loud during his set. And this is a packed house, and Doug Stanhope looks over, and he sees this guy, Billy, who's a comedian. He died a few years back. He's a friend of mine, a very funny, hilarious guy, also a very short guy. He's like 5'5", probably about 5'5", and at the time, he was skinny, and he had on a dress for a shirt that said security on it. And Doug Stanhope goes, "You, security guy, could you go find a bigger security guy and escort these people out?"
That's fucking hilarious.
Super, super funny. Then he started making fun of how tiny all the security people were.
That's fucking...
It was great. So, all right, getting back to some of the story here. Trump, well, you know what I like to do is I like to every now and then look up on Amazon Trump products. I'm not going to do that right now. And just to see the wild stuff that people are proud of.
That's what I'm going to get my dad for Christmas. Something with Trump on it.
And then I go, man, I should actually make some of these Trump products I have ideas for, because clearly they're selling. Like,
Right.
I found, what was it? It was a pencil sharpener the other day on Amazon that was Trump bent over on all fours, and the way you sharpen your pencil, his pants are down, is you shove it in his ass.
That's a classic. They do that all the time with political... yes.
The toilet paper.
They do that all the time.
Yeah.
Somewhere around here, I got an old Nixon thing, something like that my grandfather had. He's got like a watch with Nixon's eyes go back and forth.
Oh,
like
yeah,
this.
yeah. I would like to make one that is like, it's like Jake Tapper and Brian Stelter's got to be involved, obviously. And every time Jake Tapper sticks his penis in Brian Stelter's mouth, you hear, breaking news, breaking news. Something like that. So... here's a story that I thought was interesting. It is this mayor in Boston. I don't know who this person is, but she apparently arranged a Christmas party for people who had been elected to the Boston City Council. There's 13 of them who are on the city council. For the minority ones, a non-white Christmas party for the Boston City Council. So excluding 7 of the 13 members, and this was called, it said, an invite concerning the Boston mayor's holiday party specifically called for electeds of color was mistakenly sent by an aide to all members of the Boston City Council.
Of course.
Yeah, maybe it was mistaken, maybe not.
It's always a mistake from an aide.
It's never intentionally sent because of they were upset about it. But then that was followed up by an apology email saying that not everyone was supposed to get it. And let me show you the actual message. I personally don't care about.
I don't either, but I sure would like to go to an event they told me white people couldn't go to, just to be a pain in the ass.
Well, here's what it says. On behalf of Mayor Michelle Wu, I cordially invite you and a guest to the electeds. I mean, it almost sounds like electards. The way she wrote that.
Electeds of Color
Electeds of Color holiday party on Wednesday, December 13th. That's today at 5:30 p.m. at the Parkman House. And yeah, the electeds of color. So it doesn't even say non-white. It's obviously does imply non-white, but who cares?
Pronouns in the fucking.
Of course.
I can't fucking take it.
Honorable members, except the ones that aren't electards of white. My thing is, like, you said you'd want to go to that. It might be fun to just go and show up.
It'd be fun. I'd show up dressed like a waiter. Say I'm working.
I'd show up and shine everybody's shoes.
I couldn't find the back door.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Couldn't find the back door. I'm just here to pass out hors d'oeuvres.
Right. Shine some shoes and pass out hors d'oeuvres. I wouldn't want to go to a party like that. Just like I wouldn't want to go to a party if I got sent an invite, hey, come to this all-white non-minority party, I'd be like, no. I don't want to go to either of these parties that are hosted by people who care about identity and race more than anything else.
And it's exactly it. It's absolutely disgusting. And honestly, we should make fun of these people mercilessly in public to their face, make them feel like the fucking idiots that they are. Never back down. Just never do it. Never.
It feels like that is becoming more it feels like it's shifting a little bit when it comes to people not taking that type of DEI stuff.
Say words
seriously.
that'll make them mad. Call them retards right to their face.
Right, don't say the N-word, though.
No.
Right.
That word's too powerful.
But also, though, if that's what she wants to do, that's fine. Like, I support her right to have a minorities-only party. That is her right to do that.
Do you think now she's got a couple of email lists set up so that she's got her
white friends,
her white,
racist friends,
her racist friends are over here, and then her of color friends are over here.
Right, and she's always explaining her racist friends to her of color friends, and so me personally with this, I don't even do all white, clothes in the washing machine. I put all the colors together.
Not
so
me.
They have to intermingle.
Not me. I wash all my white clothes first.
They get the best dryer sheets. The white
best dryer sheets. All my white clothes get the best dryer sheets. The rest of them, some of them I throw away. I don't even
some
wash
of your
all
colored
of them.
clothes.
Yeah, I just throw them away. I don't even wash all of them.
Use them to clean up the cat mess on the floor.
Yeah, stuff like that.
It's
Oh
ridiculous.
my gosh, this is so stupid.
And this stuff has been going on for so long too. The identity. I mean, obviously, it's something the race you can find in books dating back 100 years, based on what I know, but probably even further back than that. Where it's just like anytime we need to get people to fight and stop thinking and working together, let's just racism. Let's just inject that.
This only exists among the elites. Regular fucking people don't give a shit.
They don't care.
Regular white and black people are getting along all the time. Every day.
Right.
They're in love with each other. They live next to each other. They work together. This is a fake issue.
Right, yeah, it's totally fake. And it's one that they have to work hard to put out there. Denver Attaway on Rockfin says Boston is one big Department of Defense psyop. But in what way? Elaborate on that being a psyop city. I mean, I definitely believe it, but in what ways? I'd love to hear about that, Denver. So, yeah, so that happened today, and she's getting a lot of stuff. But I say support it, whatever. If they want to do it, they want to do it. I don't want to be there, just like I don't want to be at a Klan meeting.
Do you think up here it says what one white council member said, called it? Do you think he called it divisive or divisive? What kind of white person was
Divisive.
it? Divisive.
I think one of the people quoted said, "I'm not." One of the white guys said, "I'm not easily offended. I don't care." I don't think anybody cares. I think that there's probably people that have parties like this. I mean, there's a small group.
This is all part of the never-ending Marxist progressive revolution. They just want to continue to do things that might get a reaction. This wasn't really one that got the reaction they wanted.
Yeah.
They didn't accidentally send this to all the white people. They intentionally sent it to the white people because they knew it would become a story.
No, they wanted the attention.
They always have a camera. They always have a camera right when they're about to get beaten up.
Right, they're like, what? They're like, what people are allowed at this party? You ask your Meta glasses, and they say everyone except the white people.
Yeah. How many races are at this party, Meta? And then it just starts making up races.
Yeah, brand new races, and what should we do to white people? And then it goes on just a long diatribe with very specific details about what to do. That we can't even get to in this show.
I do have dietary restrictions. I can't eat racism.
What's up? Think, change, repeat. How's it going? All right. So I guess we should do this now. I want to show you some of this activism stuff, but before we get to that, because I know you'll like it, I think we should watch this trailer. I have not seen.
I want to start posting. I've heard Reginald's signed up The Truth Brigade.
Indivisible Truth Brigade training.
That's what I heard.
Well, I have some posts, and I have how they've populated on Twitter. Yeah. Did you see this trailer today that is this new movie that's like a Civil War movie about, a coming Civil War to the U.S.?
I saw it, and I haven't had a chance to watch the trailer. I've been meaning to.
I haven't watched it yet either.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we're going to watch it.
Is this going to be our reaction video?
Right, it's a basic, pure reaction video.
Pure reaction video,
This,
okay.
I'm presuming, is some sort of predictive programming.
Okay.
Let's see what it looks like.
19 states have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western...
I had to take that. I'm sorry to stop this like that, but how many times have we seen this shot? Am I watching The Walking Dead?
Well, not only that, if this was a civil war, what was this? What happened here? Was this like the battle of the vehicles?
Everybody, right?
Like what? This is what would happen.
Everybody ran out of gas at one time in the same place.
Yeah. What is that? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, right. How did this
happen? The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
I guess aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America.
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
She's a local Atlanta actor. Sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, she's an Atlanta actor?
Yeah. I bet you a lot of this was shot in Atlanta. I can tell. Yeah, go ahead.
Citizens of America, the so-called Western forces of Texas and California.
Who is this president? The so-called forces of Texas and California.
I like the Florida Alliance. What does that? What does that mean? It's a state. What are they allied with? Just themselves?
They're aligned with racism, obviously.
Yeah. Florida
have suffered a very great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens? We're moving to D.C. today.
You need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. Every instinct in me says this is death.
They shoot journalists on sight?
Every time I survive.
Is that what he said? Shoot journalists on sight?
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. But this is A24, so I like their stuff. So this might not have any particular message other than just fun exploitation.
Maybe. Yeah, you might be right.
Let's see, though.
Survived the war zone. I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay? Okay. What kind of American are you? You don't know?
MAGA.
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Get in the car! Get in the car!
I have to pause it. The Western forces? Is this the California Army that's going to reach the White House?
This is the California Army. I guess this must be a Trumpy president.
They're going to show up to the White House and they're going to defecate all over the front lawn.
Yeah. They're going to set up a bunch of tent cities.
Right. And their leader, Gavin Newsom, will barrel over a young Chinese boy, then grab him in the ass for a few minutes, and that's how they wage war.
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging.
So it said we're going to hang back, but that kind of sounded like we're going to hang black. With the muffled of the theme of that. It was probably unintentional, but you look at this trailer being shared around social media and people start to put the divisiveness of it in there and you can start to hear shit.
Well, the trailer's done it's not telling you who's good and who's bad.
That's right, yeah.
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go, 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 go!
God bless America.
See, I would have preferred it if the bad guys looked like Antifa.
purple hair,
lots of nose rings,
Molotov cocktail in their
having
hand.
a lot of trouble getting into their tanks.
Right, unable to
Yeah.
really, manage.
Can't really
themselves.
lift himself up. Can't hoist himself up.
Yeah, protesting things like Cop City that they demanded.
That looks interesting.
It looks interesting. I feel like probably I think they are going to do a better job at balancing things than most based on that trailer. But the way they portray the president, I think, although a Southern president isn't necessarily a Republican, I should say that.
That's true. Okay, but I think what they're going to end up doing based off this trailer, so it looks like the journalist is the hero, the protagonist.
It seems like it, yeah.
Seems like it?
Because she's the most famous actor. So.
Okay, so it seems like it seems like nobody's going to be a good guy except for the protagonists.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be just innocent people caught in the middle of all this, which is honestly what most of it. I'm not joining a militia. I'm not hanging out with all those dudes.
Yeah, no, that's not a situation anybody wants. It is a situation that has become more of a mainstream topic the past couple of years, and movies are made based on popular culture and what people recognize. People have insight to that. Good ones are anyway. So it's not necessarily that this is predictive programming and that it's going to cause this to happen. It's like it's a back and forth ebb and flow, and the writers and creators, in my opinion, where they see it and then they create it and then people see it, and it's a matter of the way people respond to it, and which I think a lot of that response is going to be determined by the media that they consume that tell them how they should respond to it.
Well, and what makes this bullshit is there's no way the Western Army could advance because there's no guns in California.
Right, yeah, right.
So
They're going to show up with their bobby
What are
sticks.
they going to show up with?
Bobby sticks and crack pipes. Stella says there's a crapload of AI video in there. What was AI that you noticed?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Go back to I believe it. Go back to Denver Attaway real quick. He did elaborate on what we were talking about earlier. Right. So MIT, Cambridge, Harvard, research at Harvard. Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that. That's Boston. All those Ivy League universities are up there in Boston getting the DoD funding. And they do a lot of the like DARPA and other stuff documents that I find all the time related to the government come from those institutions. And yeah, it's a great point. I didn't think about that. Stella said in the back. Yeah, and I think that's going to be seamlessly put in to backgrounds, I think. And I don't even know that we'll... Stella, you notice that stuff because you watch that stuff closely. But most people aren't even thinking about that stuff. They'll just slowly kind of work this AI stuff in to where maybe everything's AI, and we don't even know it. Who knows? Maybe Joe Biden's an AI, decrepit AI.
I think if Joe Biden wants to get out of this impeachment possibility, he needs to become a trans woman right now.
That is the solution.
Right now. And then Hunter does it too.
Whoever plays that card first wins.
Right, and then Hunter does it too. And then if the two of them do it, you know who else is going to do it? Donald Trump.
Donald Trump's going to do it.
Yeah, he's going to have to because he doesn't want to be upstage, and he'll be a classier lady. I think a different kind of lady.
Classier.
He'll be strong.
Like, I don't give this
powerful.
vagina to anybody. I don't just
it's
throw it around.
vagina. I'm a virgin.
I have a chastity belt. Looking for the right man to pop my cherry. And then he might even show up in a wheelchair. I'm higher on the intersectionality ladder.
I'm a crippled, beautiful woman.
I was shot by Joe Biden, but I'm still beautiful. All right, let me show you some of this indivisible. I talked the other day on the show last night. I showed a couple of the indivisible activism messaging that they send out. A little bit of background. I talk a lot about on this show, and I have for years, these indivisible activist groups, which are all over the country, and they're promoted from the top down, very much so. They come straight from the government and mainstream media, but they pretend to be grassroots activists who brag about having people in every precinct of the country. And I would go to their online trainings and subscribe to their stuff, and they would send me exact talking points to share. And then they would say, but customize it for yourself. But when they say that, what they would then do is they would say, here is the one, they would give you the entire message that you're supposed to share. And then they would give you, right here, enter your personalized part. and it'd be like one sentence, and then right below that it would say, "Here are your options for personalized parts." So that's how they did all of that, and they would try and minimize the effort to people wouldn't have to think of anything. They wouldn't have to try and figure out how to share it. It's like one click solution is what it is, and I showed some of that last night on the show, but I want to share some of it with you again because I did a little bit more research on some of these messages. This is from Indivisible, one of their programs they're doing right now, which actually went to one of their trainings earlier today. But this one is called XLast, and it's a really bright yellow website, which I think it's interesting that they have that color there. And
so this is a different one, or is this still Truth Brigade?
No, this is the same. These,
this is just
connected.
They're connected.
Yeah, so I'm going to show you two that are connected that I got from the same email.
And this one says about X.
It's time to do something about X.
So this is about anything, right?
Right. They want to get rid of, so this is the big protest against Elon Musk and X. And I found this to be interesting because a couple of days ago, I shared a tweet that Brian Stelter had put out that Stelter tweeted something like, he tweeted an image of Stephen Colbert looking over at the camera. It looked like Brian Stelter was there taking a photo of him. And in the tweet, Stelter said, Colbert, he will be back tonight because something happened with his appendix and he was out for a week. He will be back tonight. He's feeling better, and he's not. Then it put in parentheses, he's no longer posting on X, and then it gave the time of the show. And I'm like, oh, so Colbert, his show is trying to virtue signal and tell people that he's no longer on X, but nobody cares or even knows that he's doing that. So he's having Brian Stelter tell people that he's virtue signaling for him. Which is obviously
this is like when an Orthodox Jew has to hire like a goyim to do something for him on the Sabbath, right?
Yeah.
So but they can't. From my understanding of it, though, they can't say it. They can't go like, "Hey, turn on the air conditioner for me." They have to go, "Oh, it's really hot. Oh, yeah, it's so hot."
Exactly. And
right.
It was just so desperate.
Yeah.
Hey,
I can't get on X, but I don't have an audience. I won't be able to advertise this to anybody. Nobody watches that fucking show.
No, he's posting on Threads, and he's getting because the only engagement he probably
Threads
got on X
is the worst
terrible
place. Every Threads post is, I'm a trans pro-Palestine
It's like watching
supporter.
gay sex over there.
It's all it is.
Yeah, if you go to Threads, you're just going to watch a bunch of people scissoring and sucking each other off. Is what I feel like Threads is.
And I can only take so much of that.
I mean, just a couple of hours of that.
Yeah, just a couple hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
So this guy, not to go off track, but this guy that we both knew who used to stand up comedy a lot. He's a very, very funny guy. Won some festivals, but he used to do this joke back when we started comedy, where to be very serious, he'd be like, "Well, they say that watching too much gay porn will make you gay. Hope not." It was so funny the way he delivered it. It was great. But I looked at this email from X, and I'm like, this is what Colbert is doing. Colbert is doing the Indivisible boycott of it's time to do something about X. And in this little message here, it says, take the pledge to adopt the XLast approach, and collectively address its hateful, dangerous direction and help strengthen better, more functional alternatives. And then it has a strange AI image.
Another AI image.
Of a bird. Like
that's the blue Twitter bird.
The blue. Oh yeah,
That's the blue Twitter bird.
Yes, you're right.
And it's just it cannot believe what's happened to the propaganda infrastructure that it used to fly around in.
It's the only thing that survived the dystopia in this image, apparently.
Yeah, this thing used to fly around and go, "I'm telling on you." And now it can't
racist,
racist, I'm telling.
Now it flies around shouting Nazi and the N-word, apparently.
Yeah. X is broken. No, works.
Right, that's what it says here. X is broken. For some reason, broken's in pink. It says, X, formerly Twitter, has seen a surge of hate speech and dangerous conspiracy theories, much of it coming from its owner, Elon Musk.
I hate that, Lane. If I was a teacher grading this essay, this sentence, much of it coming from its owner, Elon Musk, I'm like, please cite your sources.
Right. It is that is very racist to even say that, to cite your sources.
I know, and to show up to work on time, or to have a family, or rugged individualism, or anything like that.
You should never cite your sources. You should never do your own research, ever. And then it says,
President Gay.
Much of it coming from Elon Musk. And it says it's riddled with misinformation. And then you're right. Then it says much of it coming from verified accounts. Is much of it coming from Musk or verified accounts?
Yeah, and verified accounts don't mean anything anymore.
It means nothing. It's like, you could just pay $8 for it. And it helps your
This
engagement.
is for the low information person who just skims the headline. Like, this is all for low information people.
It's for people who don't know what the fuck is going on.
Right. That's what I mean.
Or people who know they're propagandist. One of the two. And it
That's
says
true.
Individuals, brands, and organizations are weighing their futures on the platform, but stepping back remains difficult. I mean, the way the colors and the bold, this is like a one of those sales pages that you would read back in the day that they used to have. But stepping back remains difficult as long as so many trusted voices continue to prioritize X to break news and discuss real-time events out of habit, because that's where our communities are, because it's what others do. And then it has a bright pink background. It's so strange, this color scheme. And this is a sales page. To break that stalemate, we need collective action.
Fuck off.
The X-Last approach is a simple, low-risk approach anyone and any organization can take to step back from X and help build community on emerging and safer, better platforms. So they're trying to build up the other platforms. Adoption of the strategy means simply this: a commitment to posting to X alternatives first, and posting to X, if at all, last, or via Brian Stelter. The approach doesn't preclude more substantial
steps. What if we
steps.
just create a social media platform called Brian Stelter?
I would just sign up for that. Like, yeah, it's Brian Stelter.
You post something and then he reposts it for you.
Right, while he's sucking himself.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
the approach doesn't
preclude more substantial steps some users were taking, like exiting the platform completely or drawing down their presence to a bare minimum. In fact, it creates room for those steps so it's an inclusive strategy, signaling a collective resolve to shift our conversations and communities to better, safer platforms. And it's powerful because it robs X of its lasting selling point, that X is where news breaks, where instant analysis happens. You know what this does? This is them saying, get off of X, because they do not want them to be exposed to information that will undermine the bullshit reality that they have propagated into their minds.
This is the way that it happens here as opposed to North Korea, like you were saying.
Right, yeah.
Now, it's voluntary.
Yes.
I do think that somewhere along the line, elites in the world decided that free speech was better for them than it was for us.
No, it's bad for us.
It can be.
What was Al Gore saying? I don't know the exact quote that Al Gore said at that climate thing, but he was talking about how the existence of these algorithms, and he's talking about X, you can tell the way he's talking, it is dangerous and it robs people of their free speech, and that freedom of speech and democracy needs to be everybody having these shared set of facts to have a conversation, discussion about. And not when you're controlling these shared facts and they're obvious lies. Because you're right, they don't like freedom of speech. They like it for them, and they like to pretend, and they use it they'll
give you enough of it to shut you up.
Right. Or to identify yourself so they can take you out.
That's what I mean. They're going to float out a topic, and depending on what you're a loudmouth about, I mean, honestly, it's really not smart for us to be talking about all this stuff.
Dude, look,
I'm convinced I'm going to get arrested because of your show at some point.
You're probably right. So, like, a long time ago, we used to talk about this on the show, and I was like, I'm all the way in now. You know, there's no turning back.
Oh, and I'm turning you in, dude. If they come knock on the door and they're like, "We'll spare you if you turn in Binkley," I'm like, "Follow me."
Right. And then maybe Tucker Carlson will come visit me in a gulag. Like
No, I wouldn't do that to you.
I know you wouldn't. But it's the 100 Flowers campaign is like the real deal. You know, that's what China did during the Cultural Revolution over there. They said for 100 days, whoever was in charge of this, Mao wants you to give all your criticisms to the state. Tell us what you think we should do and what you don't like about us. And people did that. And then right after, they rounded all of them up and arrested them. And we see now that they are using Trump's Twitter feed, anything he tweeted, even drafts that he or whoever runs his Twitter account might have made. They're using those in the federal court, and they're asking to collect all of people's tweets who even interacted with him. I mean, this is kind of a similar, but
they
different.
also said that they were going to use his cell phone data.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm like, well, that's not going to hurt him because I'm sure he's rich enough to have an unlimited data plan.
Right. It's just
like, what do you mean? Can't get your own data, Jack?
Do you think? I doubt Trump ever uses his cell phone.
He said he didn't. That's one of the things I remember. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I remember him saying during his, maybe it was before, at one point in time, I clearly remember him saying, I've never sent a text.
Yeah, I do too. I doubt people like, he's not tweeting himself. This is, you know what this is? This is like a Trump impersonator whose job is to tweet in Trump's voice. Right?
Oh, yeah, no, it was known that it was. I can't remember who it was, but there was a person who ran his Twitter account for sure.
Kofefi is going to get him in huge trouble. So, yeah,
I love how people ran wild with that.
And every single late night comedian did the same set of jokes about how stupid he is. You know, they're all grammar Nazis, right? And then this is a thing Colbert would do all the time. Colbert did a regular little 2 minutes.
He doesn't know how to mine for jokes.
His jokes are look at the former president today. Apparently doesn't know how to use commas, and then it'd show a tweet where there's just a comma missing.
Dude, I knew a Colbert writer. He's a young guy. Ended up getting fired because some girl he did a hit and run on, sex wise. Got mad and got him all involved in the Me Too stuff, and he's still a super progressive guy, but he was a writer for Colbert, and it wasn't very funny. And even now, because I was at a wedding a couple of years ago with this guy, and even then it was just like, you're not funny, you're just kind of a snobby dick.
Right.
It's not funny.
That's how Colbert's monologue is. Now, Colbert, a couple of years back, there was I think it was a Rolling Stone article where Colbert was bragging, as the whole point of the article, about how he told whoever hires his writers, he said, I don't want any more men writers. I want female writers. And they just hired all female writers, which he spends about as much of his time, attempting to tell jokes as he does bragging about his entire female diverse writing staff, which is obvious. Like, his jokes sound like they were written by women.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the part I thought was most interesting in this indivisible, let's get rid of X sales page they sent out. In pink, it says, with a dark blue background, let's do this together. Take the pledge to adopt an X-last approach. Whether you're an organization, elected official, or individual, we need you if we're going to get serious about addressing X's hateful, dangerous direction and helping to strengthen better, more
here's what they're doing with this. They know that all the 20-something interns are setting the tone for all the discussions right now, right? Because what's happening is some stupid-ass intern is going to get this, and they're going to go into their DC, org or whatever that they work for, or they're going to go into the business that, consults with these people, and they're going to be like, if you really want me to be a happy employee, you need to do the X-last approach. And that's how they're going to get all this shit to change.
Right. Well, I mean, and any company that agrees, okay, I think would probably collapse pretty soon. Because I think there's no better way to make sure you never get hired again than doing things like putting pronouns in your LinkedIn profile and demanding that your company follows the X-Labs approach. That's what they want with the ESG stuff, though.
I'm so glad I work in an industry that does not give a fuck about pronouns.
It feels like that people in business have started to recognize that the DEI stuff and
or the
ESG
DIE stuff.
Or is it DIE or DEI?
No, it's DEI, but I like to say DIE.
It's just it's dumb. It's like it's not based on merit. Nobody. We don't live in 1700. There's not people walking around.
Dude, of the university presidents that got in trouble, the white one got fired.
Oh, did she? It was like
the only one. Yeah, the white one got fired.
That's super gay. The one who didn't.
She didn't get fired. Super gay still has a job.
Yeah, so they need to fire her, and they need to hire President Transsexual.
Not that firing these people is going to do anything. Okay, they fired her, but it's a hydra. They just cut her off, and like 2 more stupid DEI heads are going to grow.
Yeah, if they get rid of the DEI stuff, that's fine. That whole press conference and the SNL sketch, it wasn't funny. That was a weird press conference thing to me because I don't analyze that stuff based on any feelings I have for Israel or Gaza. I'm just looking at it.
It was just not a funny sketch.
Well, I'm talking about the actual hearing also.
Oh, because all it was a.
It was a yes or no, and Stella and Ashley, you guys talked about this on your show last night. They were doing the same thing that is done often by the left, and maybe it was kind of the left and the right who were doing it together, demanding a yes/no answer. And what bothered me the most, and if you take the actual subject matter, if you separate it from that, was the universal agreement to mock the fact that someone talked about context. And all of a sudden, I'm watching something where both the left and right are acting like context doesn't matter, when in any other situation, if you take the subject away, context is everything. I mean, that's how you do propaganda, is you take things out of context and you present them in a way that leads to false conclusions about what's going on. And here we see people on both sides of the media going, oh, context, ha ha. I'm just like... It makes me upset. It pisses me off when they do that. I'm like,
the end result of all of the pro-Hamas marches, that's what I'm just going to call them, because that's what they are. What's the result? What the result of that is going to be is less speech for all of us.
Absolutely.
Because they're not going to take the approach they should take, which is like, well, I guess, if we're going to let these guys say shit, then I guess we got to let these guys say shit too. They're not going to take that approach.
Yeah, 100%. And that's maybe that was part of the whole incentive of some of this. I don't ever think things are actually separated by nation states. I think that there's a lot of backroom colluding going on with whoever is pulling the strings at an international.
It's called the Illuminati, Brad.
The deep state Illuminati.
The lizard people Illuminati.
But you're right. It's gotten the right to act like the left.
Well, that's why they did it. I mean, it's never about the action. It's always about the reaction.
Yeah, the reaction.
I told you, I remember after October 7th, I was like, watch the reaction. They're going to be focused on the reaction. That's all they're going to be talking about. And that's it. That's all they're talking about. If you bring up October 7th now, they'll go, this didn't start on October 7th. And you're like, no, it literally did. I'll show you. I mean, I get it, but this particular thing.
Yeah, nobody's going to agree on that when it comes to
they're not going to agree on
sides.
that. Right? It's unfalsifiable in a way. And it just keeps people arguing over and over and over.
And that hearing... And again, I'm analyzing this as someone I'm completely disconnected from the emotional aspect of Israel. I don't give a shit. I think we should stay. Look, I give a shit about humanity. I don't like when people die at all. I hate it. I hate war, and I think the leaders of both of these sides are bad. I think they're very bad, and I think they're manipulating people. But just looking at what they were, people would probably not expect me to have this perspective on this, but the Harvard people, the answer that they were giving, when they were talking about context, and they were saying, if it's a specific threat to a specific person, that to me is exactly correct, because that's what the FBI says all the time. That's what our law here is. A threat is not a criminal unless it is it's not an assault unless it's specific to a specific person, and that is when the law can take action. When it's broad and general across the board, this is what the FBI says all the time, and you can read the laws, then that does not reach the level of criminality. And I hear her talking, and I'm saying, okay, she is just saying that we have the same policy as the federal law in the United States. But people are like, no, F her, F that.
I think where people call bullshit on that, Brad, is that all of a sudden these universities believed in free speech. Like all of a sudden.
No, I get all that. Yeah.
You know,
I'm just the way I think about it is like I try to apply the same standard to everything, and I know that that's not how political games work.
Well, it'd be nice if we did do that. That would be the adult thing to do, is apply equal standards. But we don't, because like they were pointing out, critics of these presidents were pointing out, what other group of minorities would you be okay with that being chanted about?
No, you're right. You're right. They would shame. They would try to ruin.
They would kick them off campus.
Dude,
there was this kid. He was a story a couple of years ago. He was 16 years old. Well, when he was 16 years old, he sent a text in a group text, some racist stuff, and then he got into Harvard, and somebody outed him. Somebody sent this in. I don't know how.
Probably let him in so they could out him.
Yeah, and then they kicked him out because of this text that he had sent like 2.5 years ago or something.
Dude, there was this Braves pitcher who 6 years ago maybe.
So context didn't matter for that, is what I'm saying.
No, and I get the double standard, and I totally understand that these people apply a double standard. I'm just saying the way I analyze it is I don't apply a double standard. I try to apply the same standard. So that's the way that I perceive what went on there. With this Braves pitcher, he was 1 out away from a perfect game, and he was very young. He'd only been in the majors, I think it was his second year, and got to the 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, and a lazy base hit blows the perfect game. It was a perfect game. He hadn't walked anybody. And the interview after the game, most people are asking about, how it felt and everything. And there was one person there, one journalist, I say, who had drudged up a tweet the guy had made 8 years before when he was 12 and said, can you comment on back in whenever, maybe, or 2010, when you tweeted fag, and that became the focus of the conversation. And then the next week, he was required to go do sensitivity training for tweeting fag when he was 12 years old.
How do you not go beat the shit out of that journalist? How do you not go do that after that? How do you not get revenge in some way?
It's crazy. It's so stupid. I mean, show me somebody who
ruining
hasn't.
people's lives over this shit. And the fact that we can't just all collectively, when a journalist says that, we can't all collectively go, okay, when did this happen? Oh, wait, when he was 12?
Yeah, right.
Go fuck off.
I think a good thing, right? Yeah, shut up, fag.
Shut up, fag.
I think we've actually gotten closer to that. I think that if that were to happen now, that response would be more likely. I think people are tired of it.
Well, with Shane Gillis, it worked for him. Remember, he got canceled from SNL before he even got a chance to show up for work. And now he's got a great career.
Yeah, he's great, and he hasn't had to compromise.
And being on SNL these days sucks.
It's terrible.
Come on, who the fuck would want to be on that show?
Can you imagine not voting? I feel like they have some screening process where if you've ever voted non-Democrat, then you're not allowed to be on the show.
Yeah, they're not putting a Norm Macdonald's on there anymore.
God, Norm Macdonald's so good. Hey, all right, getting back to this pledge thing here, and I really do find this interesting, the color scheme here. Stella, you were in advertising. Is this not sales pagey? You have the dark blue background, the pink letters that's not highlighted, then it switches to pink highlight and white letters. I mean, I feel like I'm reading an advertisement for how to make $1 million in 10 days by just clicking on these links. And at the end of it here, it says, by signing this pledge, you agree to be listed as a pledge adopter. So they will list your name. And so this is one of the strategies they use, which is they get an overt commitment that they then make public, which reinforces the people psychologically that they feel like they need to uphold this and actively participate. Otherwise, they won't live up to what they're being shown.
Let's create fake verified organizations and send them to these people. I want to sign up for this. I want to start signing up for some of this stuff.
You should sign Reginald's name.
Reginald is gonna. I mean, it's going pretty hardcore.
I jumped in this Truth Brigade Zoom training they were doing earlier, and I clicked on it, and immediately it was like, camera off. Do you want to turn your camera off? And I'm like ducking, going, yes, turn the camera off. Don't. Yeah, well, I even asked that, and then it popped up into the meeting, and on the Zoom call, it just I guess it's the way I had my screen, but it just showed four people, and then it had a blank screen that said Johnny Blastoff on it, which is what I signed up on. I'm like, are we the only 4 people in here, and I'm the only one without my camera on? Then I scrolled over, and there were like 12 pages of people.
Okay.
And so I felt a little bit like the spotlight wasn't on me as much. I did pay attention to it for a little while.
Huh.
But I'm going to try and get the recording of it and maybe bring some clips of it next week. Check this out. Now, that's one of their strategies right there. This is what I think I think this is going to trigger you a little bit. And I showed y'all this last night, this page, but there's a lot more tweets to explore here. This is the Truth Brigade, quote, grassroots powered disinformation disruption page, where they have all these Polaroids of the people's stimulus. It says, stand together for global freedom. We're bigger than politics. Kids are not collateral, is what one Polaroid says. And then it says over here, welcome to the Indivisible Truth Brigade social messaging tool. It's a tool to make things easy. Folks using this software are part of a community of grassroots truth tellers, or not grassroots, this is top down, it's definitely top down, who effectively disrupt the flow of divisive fear-mongering, disinformation, both online and off. And then it says, which platform would you like to use? And these are clickable links, okay? So I'm going to click, and I'll have to...
Why isn't X last?
Yeah, right, exactly. Because that's where everybody's interacting. That's why it's first.
It should be last. WhatsApp should be first.
They don't even have the one that they want people to be on here, the meta one. They don't even have it on here.
I hate them.
So it has LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, but no...
LinkedIn. Why are they on LinkedIn? Get out of there.
LinkedIn is like... I didn't realize how crazy LinkedIn has gotten.
Yeah.
So can you see that?
Yeah,
you can see that.
I told my boss I'm not creating a LinkedIn page.
LinkedIn is just... I get called white nationalist on LinkedIn by friends of mine.
I was like, no, I'm not getting on there, dude. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy because you get called a white nationalist.
Yeah, you hired me without it. Why do I need to get on there?
Did he ask you to get on it?
Well, he was like, well, it's something. I'm like, yeah, well, it's something I don't do. So I was just like, I don't do social media. They don't know about this show.
LinkedIn is.
I wouldn't get fired anyways.
They're all hellholes. These social media platforms. Really.
They're probably like. In fact, my old boss, he just moved over to another area. He sent me a video one day because he's a gun collector, and he also restores antique firearms, so he's like deep into it.
That's cool.
And he sends me this video of him with like this giant 45, and he's got this effigy of Obama that he built in his backyard, and he just blasts the shit out. He's filming himself blasting the shit out of it.
He's filming himself doing that?
Then he turns the camera back on himself. He goes, I don't think I'm done yet. And he reloads, and he blasts it more. And then he sends it to me. While we're at work, he sends it to me, and he goes, hey, man, what do you think of that? You think that's funny? And I go, yeah, I think it's funny. He goes, you think I should post it? I go, no. No.
You should not post
I
it.
said you should not post
You'll
that,
be
dude.
jailed with the
He goes,
January
why?
6th
You think people get upset by it? And I'm like, yes. I think the Secret Service would get upset by it.
Yeah, no, I think they would come. The FBI would knock on his door, and he'd be in a cell with a QAnon shaman.
But he was also the guy who's like, hey man, I got a ton of ivermectin if you need some. I fucking love this guy.
That's funny, dude. I
fucking
love our
love him.
actor friends that like sell ivermectin, and we're not supposed like they're
Yeah.
nobody who loves them knows.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
why they are.
I know.
So here's some of the posts here. What this is these are copy and paste posts that we're looking at. And it says click to customize and share. But when you click it, it just goes straight to your Twitter. It populates it in your Twitter post. And all you got to do is click share. Nobody's going to take the time to. They're going to think to themselves, these are my leaders. They know what to say better than
Customize and share.
And here, I'll
No. I see it. I
so,
get it.
When you click it, it pops up and it's already filled in on your
Yeah.
Twitter thing.
I know someone who I have suspected for a long time of doing this, because all of a sudden they'll just post like 8 posts in one day, and I'm like, where are you getting all this information from?
Right, exactly. And so here's one I'm going to show you that is, if you click on our democracy here, it says freedom matters. In all caps, freedom matters to me. So I don't get why right-wing pundits keep dismissing our outrage about hashtag SCOTUS stripping away our rights. I say forcing people to give birth is criminal, and just beginning speak up for your freedom, hashtag Truth Brigade. And it's not the content that I'm trying to demonstrate here. I want to show you, I'm going to copy and paste this into Twitter search, and I'm going to show you.
Oh my God, it's going to be so many, aren't there?
People that post it.
It's going to be so many people, isn't it?
It is.
It's just going to be the
It's
whole...
a lot of people. Yeah, hold on, I got to change the
But here's what you do.
share screen.
Now that you know this, the one way you can beat propagandists is by exposing their magic trick.
Right, I agree.
Right?
So there's my Twitter or X profile.
Well, that's yours.
That's me right there. So I'm just gonna paste this into the search. Click enter. All right. So we can do latest here. We just go all the way. All right. Let's just scroll down. There's one. Let's see another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. I mean, it just goes on, and you can look. It's the same message. It's the exact same message. Nothing's changed. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. I didn't even see how far this goes. We're back in August of 2022 at this point of the scrolling. Wow. You'll see. It continues. It just continues to go.
That's
and
last year.
They added a picture here. This they had the same message. They just added a picture that said Planned Parenthood is killing your children.
Probably how they customized it.
You're thinking, yeah, it's their customization. Is a meme that
They probably. I'll bet if you go into customize, it gives you
it gives you that
ideas
option
on how to customize.
Use this picture to customize.
Want to customize it?
Yeah, it's your body and your future, and should be your decision, along with the same message. So the only customization is the
unless
images
you're unborn,
and the gifts.
right?
Right. I mean,
it's always the tricky thing for this argument. There's someone.
This is okay. So we found the bottom.
Dies.
What was that? I don't know how many that was. Maybe 100, maybe more. And that's a really long message. A lot of, like, you want to get people to just do it exactly. It's going to be a little bit shorter, but these are people who didn't think about the issue at all themselves.
And then they post this, and they're so self-satisfied,
as though that was something that they came to a conclusion on themselves.
Yeah, so self-satisfied.
And that's not the only one that's like that. I tried this with like 4 of these different posts, and they all have similar.
The sad reality is that you're gonna have to play this game. I mean, how do you not play this game if you're a political party? They don't have anything like this on the right, do they? I don't think there's a single thing that exists like this. I'm not saying they don't propropagandize. I'm saying
they definitely propagandize, but the actual like literal.
They don't have like a truth brigade. They don't have like a fill in my post, customize your post. They don't have anything like that, right?
If they don't, then they're working on it. If I had to guess, I know that they have the videos on both sides where you see the like 14 different local news media outlets who are all underneath the same umbrella delivering the same message. I've seen videos of those.
Yeah, I'm not posting
ways.
anything for Truth Brigade. Well, Reginald would, but I wouldn't unless they paid me. Then I would. If they paid me, I'll compromise.
Right. And I'm sure they do pay some of them. They reward them with those incentives of great job retweeting the exact thing we told you to tweet. It's and what you said a moment ago is correct. Is they have a feeling, and I'm saying this based on people that we know personally, who I know for a fact have copied and pasted or just clicked and shared this stuff because I got it in my email and then I saw them posting it. And then they later called me a Nazi when I pointed it out.
He's
and
such an angry asshole.
it's just, right, it's anger. And it's a level of anger that it makes me worry about the person that I'm thinking about in mind. That's like, what is going on in your life? What is missing?
So I have a buddy that works for a congressman, and we have another mutual buddy who, it's very strange. Around when he turned 45, he became this super progressive. It was weird. We all watched it. Yeah, at 40, like the dude now he's, not that I care. I mean, he smokes, but he smokes weed all the time, and he's really against it. And all of a sudden at 45, but my point is, he emails this buddy of ours, or direct messages this buddy, we're all mutual friends. He emails his friend. He's like, I can't believe you work for so and so. He's a genocide. You're supporting genocide. You need to quit. You need to quit your job if you da 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 da. And my friend writes back and goes, yeah, that's not happening because I have fucking bills to pay and it's Christmas time, dipshit. So tells him to go fuck himself. But then a couple days later, he calmed down and apologized. But that's what's happening to people. Like, he felt like so justified just reaching out to a friend of ours, 9:30 in the morning, and telling him he should quit his job because he works for someone who supports genocide. What kind of... That's fucking crazy.
He'd been thinking about that for probably a good, maybe a couple weeks.
And he gets infected by stuff like this. I know he's into this stuff. I know he is. I'll bet you, because I'm going to see him in February, and I'm going to bring up the Truth Brigade when I see him.
He's like, how do you know about the Truth Brigade?
He gets so mad at me. He said to me the other, like last time he saw me, he goes, the fact that you're not afraid to speak your mind is the thing I love and hate the most about you.
You need to tell him. You need to say, hey, I don't want to say this in front of a lot of people, but I'm starting to come around to your way of thinking because I discovered something called
I've thought about playing this. I've thought about
the
doing
Truth
this
Brigade.
Too.
He'd probably lean his shirt up and show you like a button he had on his chest.
He put it through.
Yeah.
No, it was like an actual. You mean like a button?
Yeah,
Not
just like a button that says Truth.
Like
maybe a tattoo.
Yeah,
he shows you.
He
like,
put it through his skin. He put the button through his skin.
And then he'll go, meet me tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And then you'll show up at the address, and it's Brian Stelter's house.
And then a lot of people I thought I knew, right? But all of a sudden, all these people that I knew was like, oh, you're in the Truth Brigade too?
Yeah. Brian Stelter's sucking all of them off.
All of them off. Just a big mess. He's got chapped lips.
Yeah. No, do you think that people would have those chapped lips and that mentality if we were in a civil war or any war at all, if chaos was going on and people were dying?
The idea,
no, we need to do this. We need
the idea that Americans are going to get into a civil war is preposterous. Everyone's out of shape in this country. Nobody, any civil war that goes more than 100 feet away from you is not going to happen. Nobody's running from anybody in this country. It's not going to happen.
They're getting on their little electronic
we're going to get on Segways with guns,
From Walmart.
yeah. We are not, no. There's not going to be a civil war.
Well, I think what it would be is it would be a small percentage of people on both sides who are like operatives, basically. But I don't think that it's going to come to that. I think it's
going to be small skirmishes, small actions. The days of these big battlefield campaigns are over. Society would have to fall so hard and so far for that to become a reality again. We're not urban warfare doesn't happen like that.
Right. I think the more likely reality would be that we have troops on the ground in Ukraine or wherever for a third world war type of situation.
Right. And here's the thing: anybody who fantasizes about this civil war thing, here's the thing that here's the most dangerous thing about it. Let's say America did, and this is what I don't see in that movie trailer. If America did have a civil war, the first thing that would happen is the UN, NATO, they would decide that they need peacekeeping forces in the United States. And so they would start to send international forces. All these international countries, China, Russia, all these countries would start they'd all start taking advantage of the situation. Yeah. And you would see in your neighborhood one day, it's very likely that you would see a UN tank rolling down the street with Chinese troops bobbing around outside of it, handing you food.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
No.
I mean,
yeah. It'd be subtle. It'd be.
Yeah. So it's a lose all the way around if America had a civil war. I even hate thinking about that possibility.
So like I had, and this I'm thinking more perspective from like a global type war, but the power went out here the other day for like 30 minutes, and it was probably, sometimes somebody runs into a transformer or something, and the whole block goes out, and it just looks pitch dark. I mean, it's like the environment outside looks very different when all of the lights are out and everything is pitch dark. It's like, oh, so this is what the wilderness would be like if modern society wasn't here. And it was out a little bit longer than I had experienced, like ever. It did come back, obviously, but it's just like, is this a rolling blackout thing? Like, is this really like a transformer situation? Because I tried to figure out what caused it, and I haven't been able to figure it out yet. But that is one thing that I think would be targeted if there was going to be some sort of crippling of America. Is you're going to cut the grid because that's what they do in other countries.
You cut the grid. Anyone who has generators and turns their lights on are getting popped.
Right, and it was like the lights are out, and that's the moment, and it's almost like maybe
that's why they want us to have these electric cars. You get trapped. You're not going to be able to go anywhere.
Dude, that's a good point.
No, that's exactly why they want it.
In that moment, I'm sitting there going, I am not as prepared as I need to be.
No.
I need to take this as like, even if
you
it's
need to have a few guns, Brad.
No, I do. I have guns.
Okay.
Definitely. But like, I'm like, I don't have enough candles. I don't have enough storable food. I need to take this as, even if it's not, even if it is just somebody ran into a transformer, I need to act like this is like a warning.
What we should do is we should go up to North Georgia and build like a homestead compound and do the show from there. During the days, we'll can things.
Hell yeah.
That kind of stuff. We'll roll over to Home Depot. We'll get some farm workers to help us out. We'll drop them off at the end of the day.
Get little tiny houses everybody can live in.
Little tiny houses, right? No, I mean, I have another one of the things that YouTube suggests is more homesteading videos, because I'm constantly like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to learn how to milk a goat.
Right. No, and like what the confusing part about milking a goat is like, does the milk come
from the milk? Does the milk come from
Which
the
one
dick?
is it? Does it come from the chest teats or the one hanging
teat.
between the legs? It's just like, which obviously is much easier to get milk from the one between the legs when you just use your mouth, from what I've heard.
Right. And then things are going smoothly. You got a goat, and then the goat gets sick.
Yeah, right. You got poisoned milk.
You got poisoned milk.
So, do you have time for like a couple more quick stories?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do something a little bit lighter here to connect back to what you brought up earlier in the show at the very beginning. Is the most searched fetishes of 2023. This was a story on Drudge Report today. Any wager a guess on what the most searched?
I'm just going to start typing into my search bar
of 2023.
And see what comes up. I probably got one of them in there. Most say it again.
Most searched fetish of 2023.
MAGA threesome.
I would think that would be up there, but it's not in this article anyway. The most searched fetish of 2023 is apparently the giantess fetish.
Oh,
The giantess.
this is so. I think I've seen these videos where they like a giant. She's like, I'm gonna eat you.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
Those are so good.
Now, it's people who are turned on by these giants who are going to eat them.
So, what I love about YouTube is all the non-sexual fetishes live on there. They all do. You can find these giantess videos all over YouTube.
I think they get sexual when you go off YouTube.
Right.
This article that talks about it, though, it poses a great question. Right. It says, do you want to be stepped on, crushed, and dominated by a giant woman? I just imagine, like, who's reading this going, yes.
Well,
yes. That's me.
Gosh.
I mean, it's Stacey Abrams if politics doesn't work.
Yeah, I want to be dominated by a little woman.
That's
like a very, very little.
You are right ahead of me because there is another fetish that's linked to giantess fetish, according to this article, called form-acophilia, which is where one person has a fetish around small creatures such as bugs, and some imagine that they are the bug or small creature, and they see themselves as similar to a service ant or bee for the queen bee or the ant, which I'm presuming is the giant. Where do these corners of society exist?
These are all people who have very good jobs. That's the other thing.
Yeah, you can't be starving and homeless.
Very, very good jobs.
Worry about
if you're getting into these fetishes.
Your giantess fetish.
Yeah.
A society at war is not a society obsessed with being eaten by a giant.
I feel so boring. Everything is just standard fetishes, just regular sex. I don't want anything in my butt. I don't need to be slapped or called names.
What? You're gonna get broken up with the minute you say that.
Yeah. Just pretty normal stuff.
But it's like, so this stuff, the more that we see it in media, and it is out there more and more. Like the giant one, they actually call it macrophilia, so like macroeconomics, I guess is the. But the more people are going to start to experiment with it. So this fetish, which they say hashtag giantess, hashtag giantess crush, and hashtag giantissivore, have collectively amassed nearly 1 billion views on TikTok. Nearly 1 billion views, and that's the youngest generation. Of course, in China, they call it the broccoli and carrots version, that they don't give them this. They give them stuff about family and whatnot, and they export this type of TikTok over here, which is, it's hilarious, honestly. And not good, but hilarious. But the more people that start watching videos of this, the more instances you're going to have of younger people having, maybe their first sexual encounter going, want me pretend to be an ant? Want to step on me and eat? Like, you're going to have some, or, I used to always joke back in the day about how kids who are just, they grow up watching porn all the time, they're going to show up to their first sexual encounter holding a pizza box with a hole cut in the bottom of it in front of their crotch. And they're going to be real surprised when the chick is horrified by that.
Yeah, because she watched totally different porn.
Right.
She is like, I want to step on you, little man.
Totally. She's like dressed in a giant suit and holding like scissors and some weird shit.
Right. And it's not compatible.
Yeah. No, it's just like, it was so easy to get access, or it's so easy to get access to these types of videos and images nowadays. I used to have to run an operation to get a porn VHS when I was a kid. You got to sneak out of the house. You got to somehow manipulate the gas station clerk, and then, or you got to watch Channel 69 and hope you see a boob in the blur. Nowadays, it's like 40 browsers open for these kids.
Yeah, what we would do during the summer, when my buddy's dad would go to work, we'd found his collection. I would bring my VCR over to the house. We'd hook the VCRs up, and we would spend the afternoon dubbing tapes. Right?
Dubbing porn.
Yeah, making copies of his dad's collection.
Oh, God. I thought you were doing like voiceover.
Yeah, doing voiceovers.
Yeah, you're doing comedy bits on the porn.
Yeah, no.
Denver says on Rockfin, amputee fetish or midget fetish. There's amputee fetishes also. Have you heard about these? I don't know if these are sexual. I'm sure everything's sexual, but
there's that movie. What's the movie?
Where people like to get their limbs cut off. They're perfectly healthy, but they want their limbs cut off.
Oh, I know.
It's like what? That's like what? That's
I know.
wild.
And if you try to bring that up as like, well, isn't that the same as cutting your wiener off and making a fake, vaginal-esque hole? Isn't that the same thing? They go, no, that's not the same thing at all.
Not the same. Well, I mean, you got to take the arm if you cut it off, and if you're a woman, you got to turn that into the penis.
What do they do? What do they do with the arm? It's a perfectly good arm.
I mean, I imagine.
And you think that the guy throwing away is like, why is someone throwing away a perfectly good arm like this?
I do. I think that the smart innovators are. I think that the people who aren't looking forward or doing any forward thinking are throwing them in the dumpster. And I think the person who's saying these are going to be penises one day is collecting all of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this on ice. Put this arm on ice. We're gonna give it to Elliot Page. Give Elliot Page this forearm long.
Absolutely,
penis.
with a thumb. She has a penis with a thumb.
Yeah.
So,
good for her. Him.
Yeah, I'm very proud of her. Him.
Him.
And I'm in no way disgusted by photos of that person. So let's do one more. I love doing the. You know how I love doing the smoking gun stories. I did a couple of them last night, and.
It's like if Faces of Death was a website.
It's just, or like, what was that? Rotten.com used to be a website.
Oh, gosh. That's gone now, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
That was so brutal.
That was back in the day of the internet.
That was brutal.
It was awful.
Awful.
It was so bad.
Oh, that's where they'd have, they had the Chris Farley
they
photos
had like the
and
corpse
stuff like
photos
that.
and stuff like that.
Oh, gosh. You're like, jeez. I looked at all of it.
I looked at it all the time. So here's a few to choose from. And I read some of these headlines to you last time, but we did not do them yet. Husband linked to domestic sausage battery. Mm-hmm. Bicyclist, and this was a headline we read last time. Bicyclist arrested for wheelie lewd behavior. And man busted for Oreo attack on his 75-year-old wife.
Let's do the sausage one.
I think that's a good one to do. Let me get these off screen there. I do want to show you an image for this other one now, because this one's very unique. People have different ways of expressing themselves when they're arrested in their mugshot, as we saw Trump did, and some of his co-defendants did as well. This one I found to be. This guy here, this is the bicyclist arrested for wheelie lewd behavior.
Oh, yeah.
He's very happy about this. He's smirking like, I jerked off on my bike, is what he's smirking about. And
I can ride with no hands.
Right, yeah, I'm so talented.
Like, that was a big trick. That was a big trick. If you could ride with no hands, you were...
I used to love to ride with no hands.
Yep.
Never took it up another level like he did, though.
Nope.
That's a magic trick Penn and Teller would not like to see at their little competition. That's the wrong one.
You think you could do any freestyle tricks still?
I think he could probably flip over backwards on the
bike. Do you think you could if I got you like a Diamondback, little mongoose?
Dude, I got a Diamondback in the garage.
Is it the old school Diamondback?
It's like an old school Diamondback. I used
to have a Haro.
A Haro. Which one? I don't remember.
There was Haro, Diamondback, mongoose.
I thought I was so cool with my Diamondback, me too, man. Dude. I used to ride that thing with no hands, drive just like I do my car. I drive with my knees everywhere.
Florida was great because it was all flat, right? So it was perfect for riding bikes.
Like if I could just be texting all the time back then, I would have been texting and riding my bike everywhere I went.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, here we go. Husband linked to domestic sausage battery.
Oh yes.
And Stella says, "Make sausage great again." Yes. Make sausage great again. Story goes, husband linked to domestic sausage battery. Police, woman 64, struck in the face by her thrown pork. So her husband slapped her in the face with his sausage. A judge has ordered a Florida man to have no contact with his wife following his arrest for allegedly striking her in the face with a thrown sausage, records show. During a verbal altercation Saturday afternoon, Ray Allen, 61, allegedly threw the sausage, presumably pork, which that's a very important detail, I guess, at his spouse. Quote, the sausage The said sausage struck the 64-year-old victim on the right side of the face, according to the arrest affidavit. EMS workers, emergency service workers, showed up. They responded to the couple's home in St. Petersburg. This is funny. The story from last night was also in St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
Wild times in St. Petersburg.
St. Pete.
EMS workers responded to the couple's home in St. Pete and washed the victim's eye out with a saline solution. Must have been raw sausage. Pictured at right, Allen was arrested for domestic battery and booked into the county jail. He was released yesterday from custody on his own recognizance.
I love that. Go ahead.
Oh, go. Yeah, what were you going to say?
No, this line, I just was reading ahead of you. Cops indicated that alcohol may have been a factor.
That's all. That's in every one of these.
In
every
the
one of these
2:50 p.m. confrontation.
But yeah, that's great. Like the story would be, neither subject tested for any. They both blew a 0.0. They were completely sober and on no drugs.
Yep, there were Bibles all over the place.
Yes. A sober religious prayer session breaks out into a sausage fight. Allen had pleaded not guilty to the misdemeanor charge. Not guilty. So I guess he's going to say she's at fault. While a circuit court judge ordered barring him from contacting the victim. Cops, as you said, indicated that there may have been alcohol involved in the 2:50 p.m. confrontation. The sausage linked to the battery was not seized. The weapon is still out there.
I bet they cooked it up and ate it.
The cops, if it's weed, they smoke it. If it's sausage, they eat it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Always stealing sausage from the scene.
We might as well do this other one, too. That one was short. And get out of here. I just got to see what this smirking bicycle masturbator. Like,
Is
if
it
you're
an
going to
update
get
on a story?
Did we do this one?
We did this
all the way? Okay.
Yeah,
so if we did it all the way, then we don't need to do it again. All right. Well, then we'll do this other short one here. Then I forgot about that one. This one is this dude who was he was busted for an Oreo attack. He attacked his wife with Oreos. So that guy attacked his 71-year-old wife with sausage. This guy attacked his 75-year-old wife with Oreos. I think sausage is a better weapon, but let's see. A Florida pensioner threw a package of Oreos at his wife, causing the 75-year-old victim to fall to the ground. We must have an arm on him. Maybe the Braves can sign him.
More Florida. I know, right?
In the police interview, the woman said she and the accused, John Sandoval, 70 years old, got into a verbal argument in reference to the coffee maker not having any water in it. That's very frustrating when you don't fill up the coffee maker again. The quarrel took place Saturday in the pair's home.
These arguments are all over something like this. This is just what happens when people live together this long.
They're just like something sets off years of animosity.
This wasn't about the coffee maker not having water in it. This was about the fact that you said something embarrassing 15 years ago, and, right? That's what this is still about.
Absolutely. Or, something that they said was forgiven from 20 years ago that actually hasn't been. Stella says in reference to the sausage story that the cops grilled the eyewitness. In a police interview, the woman said she and the accused, they had the verbal argument about the coffee maker and took place in their home in Orlando, north of Orlando.
He looks like he needed coffee.
He looks tired as hell. He's got
he
bags
looks
all
like
over
he
his eyes.
really needs some coffee.
Looks like he has sausage in his eye sacs down there. The couple's dispute turned violent. A probable cause affidavit states when Sandoval threw a package of Oreo cookies, hitting her in the chest, causing her to fall. I'm saying, I want to know the velocity of that pitch. Mm-hmm. While she was on the ground, the victim said Sandoval put his hands on her throat, but did not restrict her airway. See, what I would have liked to have seen there is he shoved Oreos in her mouth.
He didn't restrict her airway. He just made her eat
No, he made her eat the whole package at one time, like you make a kid smoke the whole thing of cigarettes. During the police questioning, Sandoval said his wife was yelling at him when he picked up a package of cookies and threw them at her, adding that he thought the Oreos struck his spouse in the head. The Oreos not
Right.
further
We don't know if they were double stuff,
right. What were
regular
were they thin
Oreos, were they, pumpkin spice Oreo? We don't know what kind.
what were
Seasonal
the-
Christmas Oreos.
What were those Oreos that weren't Oreos, but they're like knockoff Oreos?
Hydrox.
Yeah,
no,
maybe
no,
they
no,
were
no.
Hydrox.
No. Hydrox is the original. Oreos is
right.
the knockoff.
You're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I liked Hydrox better, personally. The Oreos not further described were not confiscated as evidence. I'm sure they were eaten by the police officers. It's like the weed was smoked.
I know, right? It's like, man, we just ate some sausage. You know what helped that sausage go down? A couple of these Oreos.
Right. You know what would feel good after these Oreos is this dildo I confiscated.
Yeah.
I just picture this
get this
evidence
other one out of my
room
butt.
of people stuffing their mouths with Oreos, sausages, and dildoing themselves with glee.
Right. God, I'd love to be able to get into an evidence room. How fun would that
Let's be cops, dude.
Let's be cops, man.
Sandoval, he said he helped his wife up from the floor. See, right here is, and then pushed her down and shoved a pack of Oreos in her mouth. That's when that moment should have happened.
And then made her drink milk.
Right, or he stuck his hand out. And
Oh,
when she
Oreo,
reached for
bitch!
it- Yeah, it's a gallon of milk. He claimed to have no recollection of grabbing her by the throat. So let's
milk and I'll beat your ass.
Are they sober, or will there be a reference to
Their
intoxication?
alcohol may have been a factor in this 12:30 p.m. altercation.
Maybe. Or it could be, just as you said, two people who have just lived together for 50 years and they finally had
I
enough.
finally fucking had enough.
And the closest thing was the Oreos.
Yeah. How many times do I have to tell you about the fucking water in the coffee maker?
I bet that I bet that the coffee maker complaint, I bet there was also complaints about you're leaving Oreo crumbs everywhere. You shouldn't be.
Oh, I
eating
am?
those Oreos.
I am, huh?
I'll show you Oreo
I'll
crumbs.
show you some Oreo crumbs.
Sandoval was charged with battery on a person 65 or older, which is a felony. He was freed from the county jail.
Wait.
It's
If
not.
you're over 65, this shouldn't apply to you.
Absolutely. You're 64 in 364 days, and it's a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Stella says the guy looks like he's had a few too many sausage fests. He does. He definitely does. That is kind of a crazy law, though. Because what's the difference in someone who's 65 and 64? Someone could be very healthy at 65.
Well, like, if you're 18 and you beat up someone 65 or older, yes, I absolutely see. Let's give you some extra time because this person's really vulnerable. But a 74 and a 71-year-old fighting, this law should you'd be like, this doesn't apply.
And it doesn't even factor in people who might be biologically 65 years old, but they might have the heart of a 57-year-old and the penis of an 18-year-old.
That's true because they might be in the Olympics, the
de-aging
the de-aging Olympics. That's right.
right. So according to court records, Sandoval, maybe that's really his name, was convicted in 2005 of a misdemeanor. See, now that's when it would be great if he had thrown the other Oreo brand.
Hydrox.
of a Hydrox related incident.
Chips Ahoy.
But he beat a man to death with a Chips Ahoy. He was convicted on a misdemeanor battery count. I guess the person was under 65, and sentenced to 3 years probation and ordered to complete a domestic violence intervention class and a batterer's intervention program. So I guess maybe it was against the same spouse.
And they're still together.
They're still
18
together.
years later.
They lived through it. I want more color to this story. The victim in the earlier prosecution is the same woman in the pending case. So it's obviously her fault then. She should not be with that guy. I'm kidding, of course. While a 2005 docket entry states that Sandoval is a convicted felon, details of that report are unavailable. So maybe he's in the witness protection program or something. Maybe he's killed multiple people with sweets.
Right. Yeah.
He's the sweets murderer.
Yeah. He's the candy man.
So there you go. And these Florida, I think was it Ashley that told us this, Stella, on the show from Sunday. I can't remember exactly, that these Florida cases, the reason there's so many details are available for them is because the laws there allow them to show these details when the laws in other states don't.
Oh, I love. What was that show? Oh gosh, why am I blanking? That Alec Baldwin show. With Tina Fey. What the fuck was that show? You know what I'm talking about? The one where they did
the one where they play like producers.
Mm-hmm.
Third Rock, is that what it was?
No, 30 Rock. It's
30
called
Rock.
30 Rock.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he had a great line in there because his elderly mom, had moved to Florida and started dating some guy from Florida. And she's like, "Why are you upset?" He's like, "Don't you understand? Florida is the Australia of America." And I was like, that is such a good description.
Well, and then that's then he shot somebody years later.
Then he shot somebody years later, right? And he said that, he screamed that at them.
Yeah, he's like, she's the Australia of this movie set.
Yeah,
because he has some weird thing about that. Did he get off on that, or there's still charges?
He did.
I mean, he really got off.
Yeah, and there was some weird stuff. Like but she had some weird political connection.
There was some weird stuff, definitely.
She had some kind of political thing going on. It was weird. I remember looking at it and I was like, that's a weird detail. Like, it made you go, was this an assassination?
It definitely, I don't know if Baldwin knew the gun was loaded, but it did seem like there could have been a little bit of foul play there. You know, somebody putting a bullet in the gun or whatever. And it's almost like Baldwin's an idiot on set. He likes to flip guns around to fire them off. Let's just load that gun up, and he'll kill it. He'll shoot her eventually. Yeah. Stella says sounds about right. Melbourne with Northern Territory flavor. Yeah. Stella's from she's from Australia. So.
Well, I'm from nearby Melbourne, Florida, where I grew up.
Yeah, very similar.
You know, very close to Melbourne, Florida.
Yes. Definitely. All right. Well, Ian, thanks for joining me.
Of course.
Tonight was fun.
It was super fun. Thanks for having me on, man. Merry Christmas once again.
Merry Christmas. We'll do it again before Christmas. And
I know. I just like saying Merry Christmas.
I like to say
I've been saying it. I've been saying it a lot
because I have shopping.
Just to everybody, because it's my war on Christmas. It's my version of my war on Christmas.
You know, there's a video of me and our friend Josh at Lenox Mall before it started getting gang robbed. Through Twitter, where all hundreds of people show up and rob the Nike store of all their Michael Jordans, of Josh filming me walking around Lenox Mall, going "Merry Christmas to everyone."
I've seen this video
just to see if people would respond to us.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
Some did, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I told you about we'll get out of here. But I Christmas Eve, one Christmas Eve, I was in L.A. when I was living out there. Me and my buddy, it was neither of us went home, and we both realized, well, shit, we're both pretty lonely. We went to a bar. I'd say to the bartender, I go, hey, there's like 8 people at the bar. I go, hey man, I want to get everybody a Christmas shot. Here's some money. Get everyone a Christmas shot. Gives everyone a Christmas shot. Not a single one of those motherfuckers thanked me. No one, no cheers, no Merry Christmas.
No cheers?
It was just such an LA experience. I fucking hated that city so much.
Oh, fucking asshole.
God, I hated that fucking city. Every day living out there was just, murder.
You ever get molested by Gavin Newsom during a basketball?
I tried.
You're not
Went
Asian
over
enough.
there. I threw a sausage at the side of his head. He wouldn't molest me.
Yeah, you got to shove Oreos in his mouth, and be a little younger. I think. Too many Gates mozzies. Yeah, well, Bill Gates. Bill Gates has a wonderful Christmas.
I hope so too.
Yeah, I hope he just, propagates some weird gene-edited mosquito all across the country and kills all the people that he hopes to, with whatever program he's working on.
Yeah.
I just want success for him. You ever see him get smacked in the face with that fucking pie?
Yeah. I love the fact that he turned off his comments on Instagram. I
used to
go to Instagram just to read the comments on Bill Gates' posts.
They're hilarious.
They were so funny.
I don't get how you can be so insecure when you are like one of the 5 richest people in the world.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? Elon Musk isn't turning his comments off.
No.
I'll give him credit for that for sure.
Yeah.
Did you hear that Spaces, by the way? Not to go
What?
off for too
Oh,
long.
I did,
Was that
dude.
them?
I listened to the whole thing. It was great.
Did you?
It was
It
great.
was interesting.
I love like General Flynn jumps on and Matt Gates jumps on.
I didn't even hear General Flynn.
Fucking great. It was
What did
so
he say?
good. Just the same shit. They were all kind of getting on there going, hey, Elon, thanks a lot. He's like,
They're doing the hits. Yeah.
And Elon was like, please, this is not about interviewing me.
I thought the part was interesting where he was asking Alex Jones about Sandy Hook. I did think that part was interesting.
I thought it was good. I thought it was... Look, I don't agree with everything Alex Jones says, but I think he has a right to be loud as fuck and say it.
I agree. I think everybody should be able to say whatever fucking shit.
You know, and I'll tell you, every one of my liberal and progressive friends that I used to show the Bohemian Grove video to back in the day, they were all like, "Oh, Ian is so aware of all this stuff," and it was all cool then, right?
Right, but
now.
Until they
I'm like, where did you think this guy was going? What did you think? This is the whole message, guys.
Most people are actually pretty rational when they break free from the bullshit media chambers that are brainwashing them. And it's like, he's described across the media as Elon Musk lets a right-wing extremist conspiracy theorist Alex Jones back on X, and then they just make up a bunch of stuff about why he was banned from Twitter. Like they just say he was banned from Twitter because of Sandy Hook and a bunch of other conspiracies,
but it wasn't.
None of which
for
is
Oliver
true.
Darcy.
Yeah, it was because of that Oliver Darcy thing, and it's just like they just shamelessly lie, and they're the ones that should be banned. My favorite part, or at least I thought was the stupidest part of the Spaces, not Vivek urinating. Not that
that was
part
so
of it.
funny.
If that's what he did, maybe he was fucking pouring water in the fucking toilet. I don't know. He was a fucking publicity stunt. Who knows? But we know, being on a movie set, people forget that they have a pack on, and they say shit.
Yeah.
And the audio people can always hear you when you get one of those things.
I know. I've a couple of times I've been talking shit, and then you go.
Right. No. Yeah. You forget. Like, oh fuck! I forgot I had this thing on. Yeah. But I thought so. At one point, Alex Jones was like, "I just can I say Andrew Tate's here? I just want to bring him on. I just want to hear what Andrew Tate has to say about." About everything that's going on, and then Andrew Tate comes on and he said something like, I'm doing good. I'm in the middle of a poker game right now, but thought I would take the time out of my poker game, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah, he's a try hard in my opinion. He tries a little too hard.
Yeah,
Andrew Tate. Whatever. I'm not impressed by Andrew Tate.
They're weird, man. I didn't even know who they were, but I watched a couple of their videos. I don't disagree with some of the stuff they say.
No,
about
I don't
free
disagree
speech,
with it. I'm just not impressed with the philosophy.
I feel like they're not brothers. I feel like they're clones of each other. Him and his brother, Tristan.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I'm just not sure, like how he got to how he got such popularity. I guess he's kind of like a more punk rock Jordan Peterson.
I don't know what he
in
is.
a weird like a jocks Jordan Peterson.
I don't even understand. I'd never heard of this dude until like maybe 8 months ago. And like my nephew said something about him because he'd watched videos on him. Like, who's that guy? Yeah, he does have a weird British accent.
Is it British? Is that his accent?
I think so. I think it's like this weird accent. He talks like
he talks like this,
weird.
but it's not really. It's not really British. It's every once in a while.
It's like what AI would think British is.
British.
Yeah, it's like an AI
British
trying to be
it's
British.
weird. Yeah, it's very weird.
I don't know what it is.
It's hard to do.
But I don't know his origin story. I haven't really looked because I don't really care that much. I don't know what the backstory is of his allegations over in whatever the country is supposed to be.
Romania.
I don't know if there's truth to it. I have no fucking idea. I do know that Laura Loomer apparently got really upset about because they kind of like she does a lot of stuff with Alex Jones, and she was talking at the beginning, and then I think she's been outspoken against the Tates. And then Jones was like, I just want to love you, brother. I just bring the Tates on. And then the Narf and the Narfall guy, like the guy who like runs these spaces. Who the fuck is this guy? I don't know who this guy is either.
Yeah,
it's weird. Like I remember he's the only spaces group. Like I've listened to some random spaces, but every time there's a big spaces, this I'm probably saying his name wrong, but this Narfall guy is hosting them, and I'd never heard of this dude in my life ever until he became like the most prominent spaces host.
Which is weird.
It is weird. It's weird. He's got a weird accent also.
Yeah. And really all he does is tell people he can't mute them when they're peeing.
Right, and how did? Yeah, and it has so. I don't know enough about this technology, but it just seems like there wouldn't be so many glitches in it. But
it seems very difficult to
really
pull off the spaces, which almost makes it charming. It's
like grassroots.
Mm-hmm. It just makes it kind of charming that they can't ever quite get it right.
It is a very interesting platform. Anyway, I'm not going to.
All right.
Thanks, Ian. I appreciate you.
Of
I
course,
appreciate you guys.
It was super fun.
In the comment, Merry Christmas, and
Merry
we'll do
Christmas.
it again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. I think bye. Everybody.
Bye.
Most people say buy a list of things, but we just say buy everybody.
Bye, everybody.
We're not telling you to buy anything except go and share the show with friends. That's all.
Save the whales. Collect the whole set.
Save the whales. We'll talk to you next time. Have a fantastic rest of your day.
Toodaloo.